Hey guys, Perry here. We just had our first live letter detailing patch 7.2, and that means it's time for another patch prep guide, where I reveal the groundwork for my evil plans to take as much money from Day 1 raiders as humanly possible. If you're new to this series, in this video I will go over the items that we can currently acquire in-game that are likely to be used in the new crafting recipes when the next patch drops, as well as the currencies we can stock up on that will be used to get the new items needed, and any other miscellaneous profitable items we can get to prepare. Just like all the previous videos, however, remember this is all predictions based on past patch data. Square Enix does occasionally like to mix things up, so if that happens and we all end up living in cardboard boxes in the broom, remember to address your strongly worded letters to Mr. Yoshida. With that said, let's get into it. Patch 7.2 is a raid patch, which means new combat gear, new combat food, and all the goodies those come with on the crafter-gatherer side, including new pre-crafts, crafting recipe books, and new unspoiled nodes. There will also be new Tomestones added, and new Tomestone items available to purchase. So, what exactly do we want? The first item on our list is Aethersand. To be specific, all current level 100 Aethersand variants are likely to be used. Sun-Gilt Aethersand will likely be used in all new gear, food, and potions, while Mythroot, Mythloam, and Mythbrine Aethersand will all likely be used only in the new combat gear. You'll want to stock up on all of these. To complete one gear set, you shouldn't need more than 15 to 20 of each type. However, since Sun-Gilt Aethersand will likely be used in the new consumables, it will probably be hard to have too much of it. As usual, I recommend getting some extras of all of them to sell or make up for any crafting mishaps that occur in the early patch days. Not that I've ever had one of those. Nope, never. I've never forgotten to eat my crafting food before beginning a craft in my life. This brings us to the second item on our list, Tomestones. To prepare for the patch, we will want a cap on both of the current Tomestone variants, Aesthetics and Heliometry. As I mentioned earlier, with a new raid patch comes new Tomestones, and that means that when the patch drops, Tomestones of Aesthetics will be discontinued, and Tomestones of Heliometry will be uncapped and demoted, while a new Tomestone, Tomestones of Mathematics, will be added with a weekly cap. In addition, there will be new crafting materials added to the Tomestone vendors that will be bought with Heliometry, and the discontinued Aesthetics will be exchangeable at a reduced rate for additional Heliometry tomes. These expected new crafting items will be needed for all new recipes, so make sure to keep this on the list. Third on the list is crafter scripts, or to be more specific, collectibles to turn in for scripts, since we're going to need a lot more scripts in the current cap. With this patch, we are expecting new crafter recipe books. The expected exchange rate is 1,200 purple script per book. With 8 crafters, that's a total of 9,600 purple script for all the books. Outside of this, however, the primary script we will need is orange script. The new food recipes are likely to also include a new orange script material that will get added with the patch, so anyone who wants to craft those should stock up. Additionally, while a new unspoiled node item is more likely, it is possible that condensed solution will be used in the new gem saps instead, so having some extra orange script on hand just in case is a good idea. In the end, it'll be hard to craft too many, but my policy is usually to cap on script and fill one retainer with items before each patch, which is 175 collectibles. Next up on our list is Precrafts. Similar to the previous patch, the high-level non-master recipe Precrafts are likely to be used in a small quantity in the new gear items. These include Rakaznar ingots, Black Star, Claro walnut lumber, Gargantua leather, and Thunderyard silk. You will likely need less than 10 of each per gear set you plan on making. But as usual, make sure that they're high quality, since that's usually a requirement to meet thresholds in the new crafts. In addition to the gear pre-crafts, there's a high chance that sanctified water will once again be used in making the new potions, so it's a good idea to stock up on this as well. Same as the previous ones, make sure it's high quality. As a reminder, if you want to see the specific quantities of each item in the list that I'll be gathering, feel free to check out the Teamcraft list in the link below. And finally, as the last item on the list, I want to talk about current crafter and gatherer gear. If you're planning on doing anything besides selling the items on this list for a profit, you'll want to make sure you have a fully overmelded high-quality set of current crafter and gatherer gear in preparation. Right now, this means Everseeker's tools and left side gear, and Rakaznar, Black Star, and Claro walnut accessories. New recipes will have new stat requirements, and the gear we used in the previous raid patch will likely not cut it for anything beyond this point. And while we aren't expected to get new gathering books, we are expected to get new nodes that new gear will be needed for. In addition to this, I also recommend having a stockpile of the current high-quality crafter and gatherer food and potions, which you can see on the screen here, since they're likely going to be needed to make the new items with early rotations. And finally, as a precaution, since this does sometimes occur, it's probably a good idea to have a few spare crafter and gathering materia available of each type, since occasionally breakpoints are at unexpected values and the current melds need to be adjusted. You won't need to go crazy on this, the new melds won't be a drastic change, but in my experience, you can save yourself a little bit of trouble if you keep some handy when the patch drops. And that about wraps it up. Here's a quick list recap. Number 1 is Aethersand, all Dawntrail variants. 2 is the cap on both Tomestone types, heliometry and aesthetics. 3 is the cap on Scrip and store collectibles to turn in on patch day. 4 is to collect high quality, current, non-master recipe precrafts. And 5 is to make sure that your crafter and gatherer gear is up to date and fully melded, with food and potions ready to go. As I mentioned earlier, you can check out my Teamcraft list in the video description to see what I'll be gathering, which should cover most people's needs if they're just making their own gear and consumables. Additionally, I've included links to the Teamcraft melding page, if you want to check to make sure that you have the most up-to-date gear. And that's it. Hopefully you all found this helpful in concocting your own evil plans to dominate in market board PvP on day 1. If you enjoyed this content and wish to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe as it will help me grow the channel and support it enough to continue making these videos. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.